Hello, and welcome to Housing and Residence Life Policies. This is Sharita speaking, and I will be handling today's module of our oh-so-wondrous Housing and Residence Life Policies for you. I know that this is not the most exciting topic, but nonetheless, it is something that we must all know in order to best serve our communities. Jumping right into our learning outcomes, what you can expect to learn from this module are listed above. In summary, we will be going over the most common and useful policies and procedures you will have in your student staff toolbox. You will then be able to identify what policies are violated, when an incident arises, and how to handle the situation. As an added benefit, this will help you understand the policy so you may explain it to residents and potentially parents, because we all know that it is only a matter of time before Susie Q's mom is furious that her darling Susie Q has violated a housing policy. We definitely have a myriad of policies, and we know that it may be hard to keep track. But we have one here, our newest policy in housing. The complicity policy briefly states that if a student assists in hiding improper conduct, encourages a violation of the policy, or fails to remove themselves from a situation that is involving a policy violation, that the student may also be charged with the potential violation of that policy. Sanctions will also be similar to those associated to the policy. For example, if students are in an apartment that has alcohol present, everyone, I repeat, everyone will be documented for violating said policy. Moving on to our cleaning policy. This policy will most likely be utilized during your safety and cleaning checks each month. If a room is especially messy and stinky, a resident may be charged with this policy and will meet with the hearing officer to discuss the potential violation. Other times, you may see personal trash in the lobbies, in the community bathrooms, and/or the kitchens. If the trash is connected to a resident, they may also be fined or charged under this policy. We are aware that this policy can easily become subjective because everyone's definition of messy and stinky may be very different. Please get a second opinion if you aren't sure. Breaking news. I am getting a very important message. UCA is a dry campus in a dry county. I repeat, UCA is a dry campus in a dry county. Well, what does this mean, Sharita? It means that it is local law that no individual under or over the age of 21 may purchase, sell, consume, or possess alcohol on public government property. Since UCA is a publicly funded institution, this applies to our campus and our residence halls. It applies to our campus and our residence halls. According to the complicity policy we mentioned earlier, it is once again up to the resident to do one of the following: either remove themselves from the situation or presence of alcohol, refer to a proper authority, whether it's you, a student staff member, or your RC, or attempt to stop the violation. Wakey, wakey. That was just a little something in case some of you may be falling asleep or find yourself drifting off, looking out the window or around the room. So we will continue on to drugs policy. This is the most common policy in violation that you'll see. Normally you'll see the presence of marijuana, the smell of marijuana, or possession of means to smoke the marijuana. Normally you'll see some bongs, bowls, or papers, etc. If for any reason you ever question whether something is not considered to be a means of drugs or to do drugs, or whether that smell that you're smelling in your hall is actually marijuana, it is okay to call the GA on duty for backup, because we want to make sure that in any case that you are ensuring accuracy and that we're handling everything to protocol. Next is our decorations policy. Sometimes you will see policy violations regarding decorations, either when you're in a resident's room during their safety and cleaning checks, or maybe you're just walking around, peeking in to get to know your residents, and so you may also see some things that maybe catch your attention. The most common things you will see is either nails or screws in the walls, items on the air conditioning units, fabric covering the walls, or items hung from the ceiling. Light fixtures or sprinkler heads, wine or beer bottles used as decorations, and shot glasses. The key with the shot glasses and or beer glasses, a lot of times you'll see that they've already decorated these, and as long as you can tell that there are no prohibited activities such as using them to drink alcohol on university's campus or in our res halls, then you are able to allow them to have them. If for some reason it was a Jack Daniels bottle, obviously that Jack Daniels bottle did not come empty as a shot glass or a beer glass would have, so they would have needed to drink that, and we have no way of knowing if they drank this while on campus or not on campus. So if there is any evidence of a Jack Daniels bottle or something similar, or any signs of them doing prohibited activities within our res halls or our apartment complexes, these items must be confiscated and disciplinary action will be taken. There are times when you're on duty and you're walking around your hall during your rounds, or you're just walking around your hall or complex in general, and you may smell marijuana. And I know that some of you are saying, well, what does marijuana smell like? If you want to have some experience with that, hopefully we'll have UCAPD come to training again so that they can give you that experience. But in any event, if you think that you smell marijuana, you should definitely make sure that you get a second person to confirm that what you're smelling is also what they're smelling, and to also assist you in documenting the incident if you're unsure. This will also help for you to narrow down the source of the smell to a certain floor or a group of doors or a door in particular that you think the smell is coming from. When you smell marijuana, or you think you smell marijuana, and you've confirmed that it's in a specific area, you must call the GA on duty or your RC and UCAPD. In any order that you do that, you need to make sure that when UCAPD and the GA arrives, that you take notes on which officers responded, which grouping of doors you found the marijuana the strongest, and if UCAPD found a door or not, and all events that occur as a result. All of that need to be documented. And then, as always, make sure that you are documenting this incident via an incident report as soon as you can following the incident. So that doesn't mean that I'll smell the marijuana, I'll maybe wait an hour later to get my RC or GA on duty involved and UCAPD, and then I wait till the next day to do my incident report. We need to make sure that we're doing all of these things in the time that it happens, because time is of the essence when we're dealing with situations like this. So we have a few examples here on this slide of when you need to involve the GA on duty and or UCAPD. We talked about this a little on the last slide as it regards to the smell of marijuana or the presence of marijuana, but there are other incidences where you will need to involve the GA on duty or your RC or RLC and then UCAPD. The most important bit that you could take from this is to make sure that if you have to get UCAPD involved, your RC or RLC or the GA on duty needs to be aware that you have called UCAPD, because there are some times where in certain situations there is not time for UCAPD to call and reach out to the GA on duty. So we need to make sure that we are facilitating that communication whenever UCAPD is called as student staff. UCAPD will need to be called whenever you have a situation that involves alcohol, drugs, a physical fight, or a need for EMS assistance. So if you need to call the ambulance or something for a student, you need to most definitely call UCAPD, because they will be the people that dispatch for EMS assistance. You may also call UCAPD if you need access to an on-call counselor, if a student may be experiencing suicidal ideation/attempts, or they are involved in any type of incident that they feel they need to have access to a counselor. Moving on, we're almost done. Lastly, but not least, when you go on your safety and cleaning checks each month, you will see a lot of different policy violations possibly in your rooms with your residents. There are the most common and useful ones that you should look out for, and that is alcohol, drugs, or paraphernalia, and then cleanliness. Make sure that you use proper procedure when finding potential violations. Call UCAPD for drugs or alcohol, and take pictures for cleanliness violations, because we know that there will be some people that will dispute any and everything that you say that you found in their room. So we want to make sure that we're always documenting the things that we find. If a resident fails a safety and cleaning check for cleanliness, you are allowed to give them 24 to 48 hours to clean up their mess as you have instructed them. So we have these little sheets that if for some reason your resident is not present when you're doing their safety and cleaning checks, that you can leave a notice of entry form and be very detailed on what it is that you found and what they need to do to correct that. If they do not correct it in the 24 to 48 hours that you've given them, you will then need to follow up with an incident report, and they'll need to meet with your RC or your RLC for an informal conduct. Well, that concludes my part of this module, but that doesn't conclude what you need to do. In order to fully and 100% complete this module, you need to be sure to go and do your Housing Policies and Procedures assessment that will be found in the Blackboard folder. Please make sure that you complete this assessment so that you can get credit for this module. Thanks so much, and I hope y'all have a great summer.